Hogwarts Legacy. It's a thing.
Yeah, sure. Make sure to get the goblins back into their where they belong.
They're the evil the not trolls, goblins, right?
No, to get the goblins.
Gotta stop them. It's
Gotta
cool.
stop them. They're rising up against their working conditions, and you need to get your bullying stick and beat them down. Make sure they don't upset this wizard status quo.
I just, as much as I have that, like, when Reggie goes off and is like, "This is some fucking normie shit," and I feel that, I also look and I'm like, I know that, Punch Mom is a fan that fucking had this as a childhood memory, and I just feel bad. I feel bad for people who have like Harry Potter as like a formative memory.
The thing, yeah, the
It,
thing.
it
The
I
thing
just
that
I
they read
can't.
in life.
It's that's all I feel is just sadness and sympathy for that, because
So, like, this
you just-
happens a lot. Like, not necessarily with Harry Potter, right? But like, I was thinking back. I used to read a series of fantasy books when I was much younger called the Sword of Truth series.
Mhm.
Pretty typical heroic fantasy book. Guy named Richard gets a magic sword, goes on an adventure, and he's always the person who solves every problem, and he expands in scale. And then I was like thinking about it the other day, and I was like, I hadn't read it in decades, and I was like, oh, that's a libertarian fantasy. That's a series of libertarian fantasy novels.
Did you revisit as an adult?
No, I was just sitting there thinking about it, and I was like, oh shit! Oh shit! Damn! Yeah, all the governments are super worthless, and only me can actually run things. And I was like, oh shit!
The
like
long. Oh no! Just as like I believe the conversation is the long drawn out, excruciatingly slow death of the author.
Yeah.
That continues, and as that happens live on Twitter over the course of about 15 years.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, the Harry Potter. Like, I saw some clips of it. It looks like a relatively well produced open world action adventure game or whatever. But it's like, I had a experience with Harry Potter where I liked it well enough. I read the first five books.
Oh wow, you're in there. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I liked it well enough, and then
I watched 2 movies and did a fucking ride. But, yeah.
Then the Half-Blood Prince this situation happened, and I fell off of it, and then I just like every time, like, even when the books are coming out, like, there's stuff in Half-Blood Prince, and the last one was like stupid and embarrassing. I know, calm down.
No, not that. Someone just went, "You like Dilbert?"
Yeah. And right, and it's just like every single thing that JK ever said from that point onward was like weird and embarrassing, and it only got worse and 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 worse. And then you look back on stuff that you didn't pay attention, and you're like, oh wait, that's like one of the last lines of the book is Harry going like, boy, hope my elf gets me a sandwich.
Fetch me a sandwich. I caught that.
Like,
yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
And it's like, can you enjoy things that are fucked up? Absolutely. You can enjoy all sorts of shit that's fucked up. That doesn't make you a bad person. Like, I love watching Law and Order. Does Law and Order glorify the police? Absolutely. I don't care. I want to see two guys run half of a murder mystery for 22 minutes.
The Wire is one of the best things ever made. It's fucking amazing.
Yeah. can you am I gonna stand here and moralize over you for supporting somebody evil? Yeah, no, not even, because like fucking everybody's
Well,
evil
you
in
want to
this
play this
game.
game? Where'd your clothes come
I'm not
from?
playing. I'm not gonna play this game
You want to
anymore.
play this game? What are you fucking sitting there? Yeah,
I don't want to do it. Right.
like let's yeah,
But
yeah.
like I stand here and I look at this thing that I did like once upon a time, and I'm just like, man, like I don't understand people who like look at this and go, no, it's fine, don't think about it, don't think about it. And it's like Death of the Author is one of those things that's named pretty accurately, even though it was not named in this way prior. Death of the Author is the idea that you can separate a piece of work from its original creator, and that's fine, and it completely makes sense. And it was like a metaphor. But like Death of the Author only kind of works when they're dead. When they're actively using whatever you give them to do things. Like,
When
I'm not going to stand here and say you're a bad person, but like you
no,
must be personally aware
at
that
the
that
end
is happening.
at the end of the day, like all the shit that you hear about H.P. Lovecraft is not great, but
It's moot too, because he's dead as shit.
but it cannot continue to happen, and harm does not increase as time goes on. There are no tweets coming from his corpse.
No,
You
though,
know,
to be fair though, that'd be a good Twitter account.
the harm does not increase over time as we go because the story continues. There is, in fact, a difference.
And it's like, if you're the kind of person who's like, man, I actually really like these characters and part of my childhood, and I really like it, and I know it's bad, but come on, please, you know, I get it, right? None of us are perfect. What I actually would say is actually genuinely like infuriating is the people who try and intellectually jerk off all over themselves to try and convince everyone that no, it's fine though, because she's not involved in the book, she's not involved in the game at all. Are you fucking stupid? Or, well, you can't punish the people making the game for, you know, being involved with this project. I'm like, they're all gonna get paid, dude. Like,
Yeah.
by the time the game comes out, parts of those teams will be laid off and gone. Like, what are you stupid? Like, no, shut up.
I think you have to acknowledge it. Yeah, I think you have to acknowledge it. But all I can imagine is just as this conversation is happening, just sitting over by the fucking fire, a Kenshin fan turns around and calls everyone a fucking amateur.
Oh, yeah.
Shut the fuck up, all of you. You don't know what it's like. You know? And pour one out for them too. Because
Oh, also, I'm seeing people
never
discuss
forget.
how apparently one of the leads on the game is actually like right up there with JK, and it makes sense that they'd be running the game.
Oh, cool. Well,
Apparently,
yeah,
they
no,
had
you
a
just
very controversial old YouTube account.
no, you just gotta basically acknowledge the shit that's a part of the thing you like, and it's a part, and that's what it is. Again, though, even then, it's like the Kenshin fan can also not see a bunch of tweets actively. You know, like there's just
It's rough.
it's uniquely garbage surrounding Harry Potter.
Let's say you're a big Kenshin fan. You've been following Kenshin forever, and then all that crap happens about Kenshin's author. Do you suddenly just immediately stop liking Kenshin on the spot? Like, no, it doesn't work like that, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that.
Definitely not.
Like, no, some people can distance themselves. Some people would view it as being tainted, but still have like memories and care for that thing.
Some people have been waiting for the game that the trailer for Hogwarts Legacy is the game they've been waiting their entire life for.
Absolutely.
Right?
And like, I feel bad that this crap is associated with the thing that they really like. Right? But it is. Sorry. Like, I'm personally not going to cover it.
I mean, I wouldn't have anyway, but
I have no desire
But
to
it's
play what is essentially a turf fantasy game.
but it's yeah, it's it's just so different because of the ongoing story, as you mentioned. That's the dynamic here that uh, 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 doesn't put it to rest. You know, even fucking what was it? Because I feel like the introduction to this type of story was back when Shadow Complex came out. You know, and in all these cases, you're like dealing with like long gone authors, long dead works, and shit like that. And um, with JK, it's there's going to be more steps. There's going to be further pushes. It's going to continue, and you know, I don't know. I mean, you have the cast getting together and having a gathering, and it's like she wasn't there, but we'll have the interview. It becomes such a weird, fucked thing because there's too much money that we need to keep making with this franchise, and people are already attached to it. So there's no collective like tossing it out. It's just too far past that point, you know.
Oh yeah, like
I
like George Lucas could be on camera eating a baby right now. And like Disney's stance will be like, well, we own Star Wars now, so don't worry about it. Buy the re-release.
and
It's like,
it does feel like we are multiple like discussions of could you just stop? Like we are years past that point, you know.
I think artists and
So
movie people and anybody who does anything creative should do their creative thing and then be banned from leaving their house or using social media for their whole life. This way, all things can be fine. Especially George R.R. Martin, but that's just so he'll write a goddamn book.
and that book will be called Elden Ring, the
Oh,
adaptation. Chapter 1, Book 1. Godric. A 12-part macro series.
What does that mean?
I don't know. I was looking for a word to say it's going to last a long time. Shut the fuck up.
What is the macro series?
Damn. George is
Hey,
writing more
there's-
than you've
there's
ever
a-
seen.
There's a really fantastic quote that somebody just put in the chat that I feel like I should point out because it's a point of view that a lot of people share that I don't personally, but I can sympathize with. When a given IP legitimately enriches your life, it is kind of unreasonable for you to expect people to disown it if it turns out that the creator is a shitty person. Which, like, I can absolutely understand that. To expect people to just turn on a dime and hate on something just because part of it becomes found out to be fucked up is ridiculous. People don't work like that. Like, it doesn't. Most people anyway don't have an instantaneous like off switch.
But if
on
your
caring
instant
about something,
no, but if your off switch instead is a defense switch,
switch,
which then is now
that's
putting
the
on
issue.
an air of bullshit and
Yeah.
going to war for something that's garbage, like that's horseshit. Don't do that.
Yeah, no.
Acknowledge
like-
it.
and, like,
Be real
some
about what it
people-
is.
Some people are like that with people as well, right? So it's like, yes, my this is an example because my dad's great, but yeah, my dad did this that was fucked up, but I'm not gonna get rid of him just because of that. They're still my parent, right? I think that's stupid, and will turn on family like this. That was a terrible snap. The instant they cross a line because you don't need that garbage. But others value those relationships more strongly than I do, right? Like, if I was, say, stabbed by a loved one, I would cut them out because I think stabbing is over the line. Some people don't think that it is because they care really strongly about family more than being stabbed.
You know, I have to say if you didn't just say that, I would have pegged you for being on the other side of that.
Really?
But specifically, if your spouse stabbed you, you might look at
Yeah.
that as kind of romantic.
That's not really.
Okay, all right, fine. Because the way we've
Depends.
talked, the way
Why
we've
are they
talked,
stabbing me?
we've talked
Are they
about.
stabbing me so they can have me forever? Because that's romantic.
Okay, well, that's what I'm talking about. Because we've talked about Koichi and what's her face, and we've gone down that road where you've actively defended stabbing-like behavior in the name of love. So,
Fictional stabbing behavior. But yeah, no, it's completely unrealistic and not even helpful to expect people to turn on something they care about just because something bad was found out about it.
I thought
right?
you were going to say it's completely unrealistic to expect people to not stab you. And
No. Yeah.
yeah. All right. Yes.
No,
Fine.
that's completely unrealistic and not particularly helpful. It is, however, reasonable to expect them to acknowledge that that fucked up thing that got found out exists.
Yeah, it's a completely different conversation when you're being honest about it, and nobody's trying to pretend that no, it's fine, none of that, or better yet, like just it's not as bad as you think it is, and sure it's bad, but we're gonna run defense for this for JK as it gets worse over time.
Yeah, so let's take, for example, earlier I said something which might have been inflammatory, which is I said I don't feel like playing the turf fantasy game, right? Now, when I say that, I'm not saying that the game is a turf fantasy in that people who play that are de facto turfs. I say that it is literally the fantasy game of a turf, right? But it makes sense that I would say that, and I'm not personally going to cover it because I don't care for it, and that's fine, and I'm not going to tell you you're a bad person for playing it either. But, like, to turn around and go, well, why are you punishing the team who made it? They don't got nothing. No. Shh. No. Shh. Nothing to do with it. You're acting like it's my responsibility to engage with this when I don't have to. Don't have to like it. And I especially don't have to like it specifically because I found out a reason to dislike it. Because it makes you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's funny that it's hot on the heels as well with this type of story coming out alongside Testament.
Oh yeah, no,
for
great.
the perfect back
excellent timing.
The perfect back to back on that, you know. Where I don't know. I'm just like, as someone who was raised to look at people like that as lost sinners who
because of the magic?
Yes, because of the magic. No, anybody who is basically, honestly, I was gonna say like anyone who's like LGBTQ or you know, just somewhat deviant. But if you really want to be honest, it's like anyone who's not having straight missionary sex for procreation is possessed by a demon. And we should not, and you know what I mean, like that kind of idea of just like,
that's
no,
a lot of people.
There is sin within you, and
that's a bunch right there.
Anyway, so as someone who was literally raised in an environment that was all about reinforcing, dehumanizing said people, fuck those people, fuck them thoroughly. They suck. There's no need to even acknowledge that shit. It's just. It's been the way humanity has grown. It's been the struggle of every civil rights movement. There's always going to be those who are on the wrong side of history, and you're going to look back and probably have an embarrassing series of rants you're gonna maybe explain to your kid one day, but maybe not. I don't know how it goes, but they would have been right there behind earlier struggles for civil rights, trying to oppress that shit, pretending that they wouldn't have been on that side. Fuck
Well,
that. Fuck that thoroughly
it's
and
different.
completely.
It's different.
It's different. This time it's different. It's not the same
It's
thing.
different. It's different. No,
Yeah.
it's different. Come on.
Cool.
Come on. Yeah. I like. I would also say that if this kind of maybe this is like the way that I interact with media is different than some others,
Mm-hmm.
and because I really love a lot of different media,
Mm-hmm.
but there are people that attach certain portions of their identity to media properties,
Mm-hmm.
which are intellectual property,
Mm-hmm.
and I would view that as probably a really bad idea, like for them personally, because it can lead you to being attached to something that turns on you. And to what I think of is getting a tattoo of a band you like as the ultimate example. Like, if I had gotten a tattoo of a band when I was 15, I would have gotten a Metallica tattoo on my arm. And then I would have cursed that shit every day until I could get it removed. Right? Like,
I am excitedly looking forward to the new Muse song, which is going to be about, as usual, fighting back against the power and the compliance of governments who try to tell you how to be safe and what kind of medical decisions to make.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. As somebody in the chat points out, don't name your daughter Khaleesi, no matter how much you love Game of Thrones. You don't know what'll happen.
Yeah. And there's a line with everything. And you literally watched us have this discussion about King of Fighters not but a couple months ago. You know what I mean? Like, it's an honest discussion that you have to have about this shit, but you can't automatically just switch into this fucking defense force because you're being attacked. You have to be smarter than that. You have to.
Well, also the other thing is that I don't feel that you necessarily need to attack people for liking things. I don't think that's like, well, I mean, if they like murder, I mean, but I mean, like, if they like, it's okay to like shit that either is fucked up or sucks, but you still got to live in the real world, and people will care about your actions in regards to that.
There's a massive difference between declaring that you're not interested in, partaking in something and declaring that anyone who does is a piece of shit.
Yeah.
That's a humongous difference.
I think the most interesting thing is that I saw some people saying that I said that anybody who is interested in the new Harry Potter game is a bad person, as if that was a direct quote.
Did you say that?
No, I didn't say that.
Oh, damn. For a second, I thought you did.
What's funny is that people are pointing out that, yes, that is actually hyper hypocritical, because I say that people are bad people all the time, but it's actually a reverse sliding scale, in that the angrier and more judgmental I will be, usually it's at the low end of the spectrum. Like, I think that people who eat pickles are subhuman, despite marrying one, right? Like, I'm gonna get married to a pickle freak, right? And I think that means she's a fucking mutant, and I don't care. I love her very much, but I've seen her sit and eat a jar of pickles and drink it like a fucking soda.
And drink it.
And
drink it.
That's like the worst goddamn thing I've ever seen.
Well, she has to watch.
She drinks the brine! The brine, for fuck's sake!